Okay, let's unpack this. When you think about the end of the world, I mean, the real final end, a lot of mythologies have, a single event, a big flood, a fire, something like that.
Right, a singular cataclysm.
Exactly. But with the Norse myths, and specifically with Ragnarok, it's so much more than that. It's not just an event, it's a system failure.
A meticulously plotted one.
Yes. It's like destiny itself is pressing a giant cosmic reset button.
It really is. And the sources we're looking at today, they take us beyond that familiar age of the gods, the time of Asgard's glory and all that.
Right.
We're moving into prophecy. It's a full chronological roadmap through what the texts call the dark days and hidden things. And it's not just about destruction.
No, that's the key part. It details the preconditions for it, the rot before the collapse.
And, crucially, how it all will begin once more.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're not just going to list the big fights. We want to really extract the analysis for you. We're going to trace the entire sequence, how this era starts to decay, who the key players are that really push things toward doom.
And most importantly, who and what survives.
We want to get into the visceral details of that collapse, but also explore that quiet, profound hope that actually follows the death of the All-Father himself.
And that's the ultimate paradox here, isn't it? The gods, for the most part, they know their fate. It's destiny. But they ride out to meet it anyway.
They do. It's chilling.
So we have to look for those seeds of renewal that are planted right in the middle of the catastrophe.
The things that survive the fire and the flood.
Exactly. The elements that ensure the cycle continues, and maybe, just maybe, the next world is a little wiser than the last one.
So if we're talking about a complete system failure, where does it start? Where does that first domino fall? And it's surprisingly quiet.
It is. It doesn't begin with a giant's hammer or a monster breaking its chains. The sources are clear. The end begins far from the age of the gods in the time of men.
It starts with stillness, with sleep.
That's really the core insight of this whole prelude. The gods are, for the most part, passive, maybe even resigned to it.
The source material literally says they all sleep, every single one.
Which suggests, either a deep despair or maybe a recognition that their time for intervention is over. Fate has to play out now.
But there is one exception, one massive, soul-crushing exception. The all-seeing Heimdall stays awake.
The Watchman.
He is the sentinel, the guardian of cosmic order, but the text is just devastating here. He is powerless to prevent what he sees from happening.
Can you imagine that? What a truly terrible position to be in. He's the last conscious link between the sleeping gods and this slow, agonizing unraveling of the human world.
He has to witness the decay before the battle even starts.
Exactly. The true horror isn't the fire at the end. It's being forced to watch everything you protect just rot from the inside out.
And that rot begins with the first unmistakable sign. The Fimble winter, the great winter.
And we need to be clear, this isn't just a really bad winter.
No, not at all. This is a 3-year-long cosmic event. The source says it's winter following winter.
With no spring, no warmth. It's like the natural cycle of the world has been suspended. The laws of nature are already starting to break down.
This turns the environment itself into the primary enemy. And the description of the cold, it's terrifyingly specific.
It's not just freezing, it's described as relentless. There are fierce winds, snow coming from every direction at once.
And the cold is so intense it causes physical pain. The texts say your lungs will ache just from breathing.
And the most visceral detail for me is that the tears in your eyes will freeze. It paints such a picture of absolute hopeless cold.
The world is plunged into this perpetual icy twilight. And of course, when the environment fails on that scale, what happens next?
Societal collapse. It's immediate.
People get hungry, they get dangerously cold, and then inevitably they get angry. And they turn on each other.
This is the critical turning point. It moves from a natural disaster to a moral one. The sources call it the Age of Wolves.
Which is so fitting. Humans literally begin to prey on each other. They lose that civilizing instinct. It's just pure, desperate survival.
The social contract just evaporates on a global scale.
And the worst part, the most catastrophic outcome of this is the strife within families. The descriptions are harrowing.
It's not just civil war. It's the complete inversion of the family unit, the most foundational part of society.
We read about brothers fighting brothers, fathers killing sons, but it gets even darker.
It does. It attacks the very core bond of nurturing. Mothers and daughters will be set against each other.
And the most chilling image, I think, is Sisters will watch their children murder each other in their turn.
It's the absolute end of empathy.
And if we pause on that for a second, the fact that this familial moral collapse precedes the physical apocalypse is so important.
It's crucial. The lore is telling us that the integrity of the whole cosmos is tied directly to the moral integrity of humanity.
The gods can't fall until the world of men has completely failed.
Right, the end isn't just an external attack. It's a necessary cleansing that can only happen after this internal moral rot is complete.
Once that's happened, the physical world completely gives way.
Yeah.
The sun and the moon, the symbols of time and order, they just vanish.
And the source uses that incredible phrase, they disappear, as if eaten by a wolf.
Which is more than just a metaphor, as we'll see.
Oh, absolutely. But for now, time itself effectively stops. The stars disappear.
And the air fills with this darkness, which is described not just as night, but like ashes, like mist.
That permanent twilight from the Fimbulwinter becomes this thick, suffocating blackness.
Human settlements, what's left of them, fall into ruin. The text says they are flaming briefly, then crashing down. It's just deconstruction.
This level of devastation, both social and environmental, leads directly into the second major stage, the great earthquakes.
Right. This happens after the winter and the darkness. It's the physical structure of the world finally breaking. Mountains crumble, forests are flattened.
What's left of Midgard is essentially erased. But these earthquakes have a much bigger mythological purpose than just destruction.
Yes, this is the key. The tremors are so powerful, they break every supernatural bond in existence.
All bonds and shackles and fetters will be destroyed. All of them.
And that is the trigger. That is the mechanism that unleashes Loki's 3 monstrous children who've been bound since the height of the god's power.
The children of chaos are free. Let's start with Fenrir, the great wolf.
Who's been held all this time by that magical, impossible ribbon, Gleipnir.
He frees himself, and his scale alone tells you this is a cosmic-level threat. His mouth gapes so wide that his upper jaw will reach the heavens, the lower jaw will touch the earth.
It's an astronomical image. He's not just a wolf anymore. He's an embodiment of consumption, of pure chaos.
He becomes this engine of destruction, moving across the broken world with flames from his eyes and his nostrils. Where the earth shook, now it burns.
And while Fenrir is tearing the land apart, his brother, Jormungandr,
The Midgard Serpent.
he unleashes his fury on the seas. His writhing is so violent that the oceans just rise up and surge onto the land. This is the great flood of Ragnarok.
And the serpent's final act is just pure ecological terrorism. The source is absolutely unflinching about this.
It's the venom.
The venom. Black poison spills from his fangs into the water, and it instantly kills all sea life. But it doesn't stop there. He spits it into the air in a fine stray, killing all the seabirds that breathe it.
The oceans just become this watery grave. The text describes rotted corpses of fish and of whales, of seals and sea monsters. The entire world is now poisoned, choked, and broken.
And the lore is conclusive. When you see those two brothers, Fenrir and Jormungandr, unleashed, you will know death. This is the absolute end of the old world systems. So the physical world has been smashed, it's been poisoned, it's been frozen. Now the divine armies have to gather. And that transition from natural chaos to this supernatural war, it's announced by a really unsettling sound.
The sky splits open.
It does.
And the sound isn't a horn or thunder. It's the sound of children screaming. Why that sound? It's so specific.
I think it represents the final, horrific loss of innocence. It's the sound of the future itself being destroyed, right as the ultimate destroyers arrive.
It roots this cosmic battle in a very real human loss.
And those destroyers are the sons of Muspel, the fire giants riding down from the heavens.
Primordial beings of just heat and destruction.
Exactly. And they're led by Surt. His name means the black or the swarthy one. And he is wielding a sword that burns so brightly no mortal can look upon it. He's the elemental fire that will eventually incinerate the cosmos.
Their arrival has an immediate catastrophic effect on the cosmos. They ride across Bifrost,
The Rainbow Bridge.
the beautiful shimmering link between Asgard and Midgard, built to protect the gods.
But the sheer weight and the intense heat of the Sons of Muspel is just too much for it.
The rainbow crumbles, it collapses.
And that's such a powerful visual. It's the final sign that all of the gods' protective systems have failed. The bridge, the source says, melts into shades of charcoal and of ash.
And then it adds that incredibly final sentence, there will never be another rainbow.
That's it. The end of hope, the end of beauty in the old order, the structural integrity of the Nine Realms is gone forever.
At the same time, from the other direction, from the depths, Loki is on the move. He's free.
And he is mobilizing the forces of the dead. He takes the helm of the most grotesque ship you can possibly imagine, the Naglfar.
This detail is it's incredible.
Naglfar is so symbolic. It describes the biggest ship ever built, and it's made entirely from the uncut fingernails of the dead.
Which is a direct instruction, isn't it? It's a piece of lore that tells you how to behave.
It is. The belief was that if you died with uncut nails and didn't have them trimmed before burial, you were literally providing the building materials for the ship of doom.
It means every single human, through simple negligence or just through death, has contributed to this final catastrophe.
A fascinating layer of moral responsibility.
So Loki is steering this gruesome vessel, but he's not the captain, is he?
No, the helmsman is Loki, but the captain is Friem, the leader of the Frost Giants. They're the main foot soldiers, this vast, chilling army marching against the Aesir.
And Loki doesn't just bring giants, he brings his own troops from the underworld.
The legions of hell, the uneasy dead. And these are not the Einherjar, the honored warriors who died in battle and went to Valhalla.
No, these are the ones who died shameful deaths. Cowards, oath-breakers, the unlamented.
They come back as walking corpses, and their only motivation is this deep resentment, this determination to destroy all life.
So the battle isn't just gods versus giants, it's a moral showdown. It's honorable death versus shameful death. The best of humanity's dead against the worst.
So all these forces, the fire giants from Muspelheim, the frost giants from Niflheim, the legions of hell, and of course the two great children of chaos, Fenrir and Jormungandr, they all start moving toward one single, massive, predestined battlefield.
That battlefield is called Vigrid.
And it has to be enormous.
Yeah.
The source calls it 300 miles across.
A scale that's just beyond human comprehension. It has to be that big to contain the entire cosmic conflict.
So let's just, visualize that lineup for a moment. It's chilling.
On one side, you've got Surt, glowing with this white-hot flame, ready to burn the world to its foundations.
Next to him, Trium and the frost giants. They're so intensely cold that the very mud on the battlefield freezes solid where they stand.
Then you have Loki's undead legions, this vast, shuffling, silent horde just reeking of the grave.
And then the big two. Fenrir, the world wolf, is padding his way to the center, this monumental shadow blotting out what's left of the sky.
And Jormungandr, having flooded the world, is forcing itself ashore. The text even emphasizes its size, saying the field can only hold its head and the first mile or so of its body.
The rest is still just writhing in that poisoned ocean. It's the ultimate assembly of every force hostile to order.
And having watched every single step of this, the gods sleeping, the Fimbulwinter, humanity's collapse, the bonds breaking, these armies gathering Heimdall, the all-seeing watchman finally acts.
This is the moment. This is the point of no return.
Having been powerless for so long, he finally exerts his power. He raises the Jallarhorn, the horn of destiny, which once belonged to Mimir.
And he blows it with such force that it shakes Asgard to its foundations and wakes the sleeping gods.
The gods wake up and they know instantly. The time has come. They rush to the one place that still has some stability.
Yggdrasil, the world tree.
They gather at the Well of Erd to get the blessing and the counsel of the Norns.
The weavers of fate. They basically just confirm what the gods already know, sealing their commitment to what's coming.
And Odin, he knows this is his final charge. He gets on Sleipnir and rides to Mimir's well one last time.
To ask for counsel from Mimir's preserved head.
It's a beautiful contrast. Heimdall acts, but Odin, the seeker of wisdom, seeks knowledge.
And Mimir, the keeper of all memory and knowledge, whispers the final secrets of the future to the All-Father. And the key detail here, the source says, is that what Mimir whispers gives Odin hope, even when all looks dark.
Which means they ride out knowing they're doomed to die, but they're fighting for something beyond their own survival.
They're fighting for the promise that Mimir whispered, the renewal.
The world tree itself, Yggdrasil, starts to shake like a leaf in the wind. It's a sign that all 9 realms are now under threat.
The gods, the Aesir, and all the collected Einherjar, the honored dead from Valhalla, they all armed for war.
Odin leads them in his golden helmet. Thor is right beside him, Mjolnir in hand. The forces of order.
And they ride out one last time to Vigrid, the vast field of doom. The final battle is about to begin.
So the battle kicks off with these climactic pairings, the duels that have been written in prophecy since the beginning. Odin goes straight for Fenrir.
The wolf that has grown beyond imagining.
Thor, ever the straightforward one, he rides directly at his arch-nemesis, the Midgard serpent.
And then there's Frey, the god of summer and fertility. He heads for Surtur, the elemental fire giant.
It's a mismatch rooted in Frey's own history.
And because of that, Frey is the first of the major gods to fall.
He fights well, the sources say, but Surtur's enormous flaming sword is just. It's primordial fire. There's no defense.
His armor melts. He's fighting with a stag's horn, which is brave, but utterly inadequate.
But the real tragedy is what he's thinking as he dies. He's regretting the loss of his true weapon.
The magical sword he gave away. He gave it to his servant, Skirnir, as payment for winning him the love of the giantess Gerd.
And the source is explicit. That lost sword would have saved him.
Which is such a critical lesson, right? It tells you that even a god can't escape the consequences of a past choice. A deal made for love has cosmic repercussions.
While that's happening, another devastating fight is underway. The hellhound Garm.
The mightiest and most dangerous of all dogs.
He breaks his chains and is just ripping through the battlefield. And Tyr, the one-handed god of law and sacrifice, he's the one who steps up to face him.
And their fight is the very definition of mutual destruction. Tyr, who already sacrificed his hand to bind Fenrir long ago, fights Garm to a standstill.
They kill each other. Garm dies with its teeth locked in Tyr's throat.
It's a clean trade. A monster of chaos for a god of order. It's a symbolic statement on the ultimate cost of maintaining that order.
And then we get to the big one. The fight Thor has been destined for his whole life. Thor versus Jormungandr.
He actually smiles, the text says. He just charges straight for the colossal serpent.
And he wins. He does it. He achieves his life's goal, smashing the serpent's head with Mjolnir.
The head crashes down. The fight is won. But he can't escape the fate that always bound them together.
The snake is just too big, too powerful. Victory isn't enough. Thor leaps back 9 feet.
But it's not far enough.
In its death throes, the serpent just empties its venom sacs all over him. A thick black spray.
It's just a heart-wrenching detail. Thor, the strongest of the gods, the great defender of Midgard, he doesn't die in defeat. He dies because he gets too close to the evil he was fighting.
He stumbles away from the corpse. And the source gives us that specific number. He only takes 9 steps.
He takes 9 steps from the body before he falls, lifeless. The poison gets him.
Why 9, though? That number is everywhere in Norse myth.
It's the organizing number of the cosmos. 9 worlds. Odin hangs for 9 nights. His death being exactly 9 steps away reinforces that this was destiny, not bad luck. He had his heroic moment, but the cosmic order demanded his death as payment. The prophecy had to be fulfilled.
Which leads, inevitably, to the most devastating loss of all. The center of the Aesir. Odin versus Fenrir.
The Allfather, armed with Gungnir, the spear that never misses.
Faces the wolf.
And Fenrir is described as being bigger than the sun, bigger than the moon. He's beyond the scale of the old magic.
Odin thrusts Gungnir into the wolf's mouth, the most powerful weapon in the 9 realms, and it fails.
Fenrir just swallows the spear in one snap. And then the end of the Allfather is described with this shocking, brutal simplicity. Another bite and a crunch and a swallow.
And just like that, Odin, the wisest of all the gods, is gone.
But this moment, this absolute low point, is immediately followed by the first real glimmer of hope, of continuity.
Vidar.
Odin's silent, reliable son, Vidar. He watches his father die, and as Fenrir stands there gloating, Vidar just strides forward.
And Vidar has the secret weapon, his special shoe.
Right. He wears one normal shoe and one that has been under construction since the dawn of time.
It's assembled from all the tiny bits of leather that shoemakers cut from the toes and heels of shoes and just throw away.
Which is another one of those incredible pieces of lore with a built-in instruction. It implies that the vengeance of the gods, the very continuation of their line, depends on the small, collective, often unnoticed actions of humanity.
Every little discarded scrap was saved for this one moment.
Throwing away your leather scraps helps the Aesir.
And that shoe is his weapon. He jams his foot, that specially made foot, into Fenrir's lower jaw, pinning it to the ground.
This shoe, woven from countless moments of human work and waste, holds the colossal wolf still.
And with his bare hand, he grabs the upper jaw and just rips the wolf's mouth apart.
Fenrir dies screaming, and Odin is avenged. Not by a great warrior or a magician, but by the silent, steady son who was so often overlooked.
So the battle is finally winding down. The field is just littered with the bodies of gods and giants, and only two figures are left standing.
Loki and Heimdall.
This is it, the ultimate personal climax, the trickster who caused all this misery against the watchmen who saw it all coming.
They walk toward each other, wading through blood and flames for their final inevitable duel.
And Loki, of course, starts with taunts. He calls Heimdall the muddy-backed watchman of the gods.
He's gloating. He details all the psychological agony of his imprisonment. He needs Heimdall to know how much he suffered.
He talks about being bound by his own son's intestines, the serpent's poison dripping on his face.
And how his wife Segin had to catch it in a bowl, and the pain when she had to empty it. He says the thought of this moment, of watching the gods die, was the only thing that kept him sane.
And Heimdall?
He says nothing. The gold-toothed god is silent. He just acts. He strikes with his sword. Hofud.
And the sources give us that little flashback, don't they, to a past fight?
They do. They remember transforming into seals to fight over Freya's necklace. And the text says Loki never forgets an insult. This has been brewing for a long, long time.
Their duel is just raw personal fury. They hack and slash at each other until they both fall, mortally wounded, side by side.
Their hatred is so balanced, so potent, it requires the death of both of them to satisfy the cosmos.
As he's dying, Loki gets out his last words. "It is done. I won."
He genuinely believes it. That destruction is absolute, that chaos has triumphed.
But Heimdall, the watchman who sees further than anyone, he manages a final grin through his golden, bloody teeth.
He has the ultimate rebuttal, the vision of what comes next.
He confirms that not only did Vidar survive, but so did Vidar's brother, Vali. And then he reveals the most critical news.
Thor's sons.
Magni and Modi. Strength and courage. They are alive. And they are strong enough to wield Mjolnir, which they took from their father's cold hand.
And Heimdall seals his victory over Loki with that final prophetic vision. I can see further than you, Loki. I can see all the way to the world tree.
He knows what Odin knew. Surtur's fire can't touch Yggdrasil. The seeds of a new humanity are safe.
His last words completely undo Loki's triumph. He says, "It is not the end. There is no end. It is simply the end of the old times, Loki, and the beginning of the new times. Rebirth always follows death. You have failed."
And with that, the ultimate source of order and the ultimate source of chaos go still, lying cold beside each other.
So Loki thinks he's won, but the destruction isn't truly complete. Not until Surtur plays his final primordial role.
The fire giant, the one who was there before the beginning.
He raises his greatsword to the heavens for the last cleansing act, and there's a sound like 1,000 forests turning to flame.
This is the absolute cremation of the world.
The air itself catches fire. The flooded oceans steam away into nothing. The flames just consume everything that remains. It's the ultimate purification by fire.
The result is just total annihilation. Black ash falls from the sky like snow, covering everything.
And where Loki and Heimdall fell, there's nothing left but 2 heaps of gray ash side by side.
And then the flood. The swollen ocean washes over all the land, swallowing the ash. Everything is forgotten under a sunless sky.
The world ends in that triad of doom. In ash and flood, in darkness and in ice. It is an absolute complete ending.
And yet, just as Heimdall prophesied, the anchor for renewal was always there. It was built into the system.
Yggdrasil, the world tree, is the great failsafe.
Surtur's fire, which was powerful enough to burn up all of creation, cannot touch its heartwood.
And hiding safely inside that heartwood are the survivors of humanity. 2 people.
A woman named Life and a man named Life's Yearning.
And their names are so important. They aren't individuals like Ask and Embla, the first humans. They're allegorical figures.
So the new humanity begins not just with survival,
but with the necessary desire and fertility for renewal. They emerge into this desolate world and feed on the dew from the new green earth that's starting to reappear.
And the text says they make love, and from them, a new mankind springs forth. It confirms the new history starts with creation, not war. It's a clean slate.
The cosmic light is renewed as well. The old sun was eaten by a wolf is gone, but she had a daughter.
The sun's daughter will shine in the place of her mother.
And she shines even brighter than the old sun, with young light and new. The new era is literally marked by a fresh, uncorrupted light.
And the surviving gods, they begin to assemble in a new place, not Asgard. It's called Idavol.
It's the new center of the world, built where Asgard once stood. It's described as splendid and continual. The potential for order remains.
The assembly is small, but it's very balanced. Odin's sons, Vidar and Vali, arrive first. The Avenger and the Steady Companion.
Then Thor's sons, Modi and Magni, arrive. courage and strength.
And they're carrying Mjolnir with them, the symbol of the old order's protective power. But there's a really poignant change.
The source notes that it'll take 2 of them to carry it, now that Thor is gone.
The burden of power is now shared. The responsibility is spread across the new generation.
And then, the most important return of all. The one that signals true cosmic reconciliation. Balder, the god of light, and Hod, the blind god who killed him. They return from the underworld.
Resurrected, forgiving and forgiven. The greatest tragedy of the past is healed, and they are ready to lead the new age.
So you have these 6 survivors, Vidar, Vali, Magni, Modi, Balder, and Hod. They sit together in the new sun on Idavol, and they reflect.
They discuss mysteries, and they question whether this was all inevitable. They talk about the monsters, and they remember Loki,
Who was of the gods, yet not of them, who saved the gods, and who would have destroyed them.
The new age is defined by processing the failures of the old one. The question of fate just hangs over them.
They all still died, just like the prophecy said. But their sacrifice ensured the continuity that Mimir had whispered about.
And the way they solidify this historical awareness, is through a physical discovery. Balder sees something glittering in the new grass.
And they all gather round, like children, searching for these objects.
They're golden chess pieces, the same ones the gods used to play with in the old peaceful times.
Magni finds a tiny golden Odin, the king piece. They find Thor holding his hammer, Heimdall with his horn, Frigg is the queen. Balder finds one that looks exactly like him before he died.
But it's a complete set. They don't just find the pieces of the Aesir.
No, they find their enemies too.
Yeah.
Loki and his monstrous children, a frost giant, and Surtur, half buried in the black soil.
And this is the grand symbolic climax. They arrange the full set on a chessboard, the new gods facing the symbols of their eternal enemies.
It's the act of recreating their entire cosmic history in miniature. Not just to remember the good times, but to remember the specific nature of the threat they faced.
The new sun glints on the golden pieces. And Balder, the god of light and peace, he smiles like the sun coming out.
He reaches down and he moves his first piece.
The old times are over. The game begins anew. Played by those who understand the ultimate existential consequences. #tag, outro, synthesis, and final thought. So what this narrative gives you, the listener, is this completely self-contained cosmology. The destruction was absolute ash, flood, darkness.
But inside that totality, you have the shelter of Yggdrasil and the promise of the sun's daughter.
It's a mythology that doesn't just tell you how things began, it tells you how the cycle has to operate.
It's the ultimate expression of a necessary cosmic purge. Every single thing, even the death of the All-Father, served the eventual planned renewal.
Knowing their doom is what gave the old gods the motivation to die heroically to make sure the right people survived.
And the source of that renewal is all there in that final scene. Wisdom, resilience, memory.
Finding those golden chess pieces at the end confirms it. The new era is defined by the lessons learned from the old one. They aren't starting fresh, they're starting wise.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's a profound view of fate. Mimir gave Odin hope, but the duels still happened exactly as prophesied. Even with hope, you still needed absolute destruction first. The finding of the pieces suggests they might be doomed to repeat the cycle, but maybe a little wiser this time.
The core conflict remains, now it's just embodied in those game pieces.
Exactly. The central question of Ragnarok is no longer, will they survive?
It's what will they do differently next time, now that they have a complete memory of failure.
Right. And that leaves us with one final provocative thought for you to carry forward. The new gods survived, they retreated to Idavol, and they found the symbols of their old games, including their enemies. So if this new assembly, Vidar, Vali, Magni, Modi, Balder, and Hod, is now playing the game of the cosmos,
what rules might they change?
What fundamental rules, based on the specific losses they witnessed? Frey's misplaced love costing him his sword, Odin's arrogance in facing the wolves, Thor's inability to keep his distance from the venom. What might they change in this new world order? What does it truly mean that their very first collective action is to recreate all the pieces of their destroyed history?
Are they just preserving history?
Right.
Or are they ensuring that destiny repeats itself all over again?